Okay. All right.
So
So
we are
we
going
are going
to,
to.
all right.
All
So
right.
for
So
those
for
of
those
you
of
on
you on
Facebook,
Facebook,
my
my
apologies, but
apologies, but
apparently
apparently I
I
wasn't
wasn't live
live
streaming. I
streaming. I
thought that I
thought that I
was,
was,
but I
but I
wasn't.
wasn't.
So I'm
So
going to
I'm
kind
going
of
to kind of
start
start
over
over
again a
again
little
a little
bit.
bit.
Instagram,
Instagram,
bear with
bear with
us.
us.
Um,
Um,
but
but
tonight,
tonight, and
you'll be able to
you'll be able
catch
to
this
catch this
again
again
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
But
But
let us
let us
know,
know Instagram. I mean
Facebook, let
Facebook.
us know
Let
where
us
you're
know where you're
tuning in
tuning in
from.
from.
Uh,
Uh,
okay, I'm
okay, I'm
sorry. And
sorry. And
I'm being
I'm being
told that
told
there's
that
an
there's an
echo
echo
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook. Okay, let's see. I have my volume is off.
Yes,
Yes,
mine is
mine is
too.
two.
So
So
I'm
I'm
wondering,
wondering,
Ebony, it
Emily,
could
it
be
could be
that
that
you
you
are you
are you
on
on
both
both
Instagram
Instagram
and
and
Facebook?
Facebook?
I wonder
I
it
wonder
could
if
be
it could be
your
your
all right.
all right.
Folks on
Folks on
Facebook, is
Facebook, is
anybody else
anybody else
hearing
hearing
an
an
echo?
echo?
Let us
Let us
know
know
if you're
if you're
hearing an
hearing an
echo
echo
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Unfortunately, I
Unfortunately,
am
I
not
am not
able
able
to
to
see
see
both
both
at the
at the
same
same
time.
time.
So,
So, um,
um, yeah. So
yeah. So
is it
is
still
it still
echoing?
echoing?
And is it?
And
I'm sorry, you
I'm
guys.
sorry,
We're
you guys.
having
We're having
some
some
technical
technical
difficulties
difficulties
here,
here,
and
and
we're trying
we're
to
trying to
figure it
figure
all
it all
out.
out.
So
So
uh,
uh,
give us a
give us a
second
second
just
just
to
to
figure it
figure it
out.
out.
Others on
Others on
Facebook are
Facebook are
hearing an
hearing an
echo as
echo as
well.
well.
Kirsten, can
Kristen,
you
can
say
you say
something?
something? Okay, so I'm only on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook right now.
Okay.
So I don't know. Should I turn my volume down here?
I don't
I
think
don't think
so.
so.
I just
I
want to
just
make
want to
sure
make
that
sure
other
that other
people on
people on
Facebook are
Facebook are
also
also
hearing the
hearing the
echo.
echo.
It's
It's
okay, it's
okay,
me
me
apparently.
apparently.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's really
That's really
interesting.
interesting.
Um,
Um,
okay. I
okay, I
wonder if
wonder if it could be
it could
it
be
could
my
be my
earphones.
earphones.
All
All
right.
right,
So
so
I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
let's
let's
see. Let me
see. Let me
try
try
to.
to.
Okay, I took off my earphones. Let me see if it was that. Was
Was
that
that
it?
it?
Does that
Does
clear
that
up
clear
the
up the
echo?
echo?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
I
So
think
I
I
think
was
I was
just
just
there was
there was
something going
something
on with
going
my
on with my
earphones.
earphones.
All
All
right. I
right. I
apologize,
apologize,
everybody, but
everybody, but
welcome
welcome
again to
again to
My
My
Mental
Mental
Monday.
Monday.
I
I
hope
hope
that
that
everybody
everybody has had
is
is
having a
having
great
a great
start to
start
your
to your
week.
week.
Um,
Um,
let us
let
know
us
where
know
you're
where you're
tuning in
tuning in
from.
from.
Let us
Let us
know
know
how you're
how you're
doing
doing
today
today
on a
on a
scale from
scale from
one
one
to
to
10.
10.
Are you
Are
doing
you doing
terrible? Are
terrible?
you doing
Are you doing
great? Are you
great? Are you
somewhere in
somewhere in
between?
between?
And how are you
How are
going to
you going to move
move if you
if
want
you
to
want to
move
move
to a
to a
higher
higher
number,
number,
a
a
better
better
feeling?
feeling?
How are
How
you
are
going
you
to
going to
get
get
there?
there?
So I
So I
apologize
apologize
for the
for the
technical
technical
difficulties
difficulties
tonight.
tonight. Uh,
And
and
so I
so
have
I have
with
with
me my
me my
special
special
guest,
guest,
Kirsten
Kirsten
White, and
White,
I
and
was
I was
just
just
in the
in the
middle of
middle of
introducing
introducing
her when
her
I
when I
realized
realized
or was
or
made it was made
was
known to
known
me
to
that
me
I
that I
actually
actually
wasn't
wasn't
on
on
Facebook.
Facebook.
So
So
Facebook
Facebook
people, I'm
people, I'm
sorry,
sorry,
but we
but we
started all
started
over
all over
again, so
again. So
you'll get
you'll get
all of
all
it,
of it,
okay?
okay?
You didn't
You
miss
didn't miss
anything,
anything,
all
all
right?
right?
So,
So
all right. So let me
let me
just
just
introduce my
introduce my
dear
dear
friend
friend
Kirsten. I
Kristen.
was
I was
saying
saying
how we
how we
met.
met.
We were
We
both
were
a
both
part
part
of the
of the
leadership
leadership
team
team
of an
of an
organization that we
organization that we
participated in a
participated in
few
a few
years
years
ago. We
ago. We
worked
worked
together
together
for
for
several
several
years,
years,
and
and
last year
last
we
year
kind
we
of
kind of
became
became
walking
walking
partners.
partners.
We
We
live
lived
not too
not too
far from
far
each
from each
other,
other,
so we'd
so
meet
we
up in
meet
the
up in the
park and
park
just
and just
walk and
walk and
talk.
talk.
And
And
I was
I was
telling
telling
everyone
everyone
that
that
as you're
as you're
adding
adding
tools to
tools
your
to your
toolkit
toolkit
for your
for your
mental
mental
health,
health,
for minding your mental, make sure you have a good sister friend that you can walk with, you can talk with, you can lean on her shoulder. She can lean on your shoulder. You can, just be able to have that person that you can just be you with, that you can be
Laugh, crack,
authentic
and
with.
everything.
And so, yes. So, I'm absolutely thrilled to have you as a guest on Mind the Mental Monday tonight. So let me go back and start the introduction all over again. So, and so Kirsten is a portrait photographer. She has a beautiful studio in Turnersville, and let me tell you, you utilize her services, she is going to make you feel like a celebrity. When in all the pictures, and you can tell like the professional pictures that I have versus the ones that my selfie picture. So the professional ones were done by Miss Kirsten White. And when I tell you, I had never done a photo shoot before. And when I went to her studio, I'm telling you, I like my name was up in lights. It was a welcoming atmosphere. She had the makeup artist there, and she just makes you feel at home and loved. She just loves on you for the period of time that you're there. And then she does a phenomenal job as a photographer. So I really want to encourage you. And by the time, by the end of this tonight, I hope that you will also see the connection between having professional photos done and how it can actually impact in a positive way your mental health. So we're gonna get into that conversation. But she is a graduate of Hampton University. Now, which one is the real HU? I'm not gonna, as an
Hampton.
HBCU graduate, I understand the battle between the HUs.
Who
But
wins all football games when we play?
ooh, now,
We
now
we
my
we
my
love
brother.
our Bison brothers and sisters, but
Now, my brother will probably see this, and he is a Bison, and I'm sure he's going to comment when he sees it on
much love to
YouTube.
him.
But
But
she has her a bachelor's from Hampton in marketing. She also has a master's degree in education from Rowan University, and she has had a love of photography, and I'm going to let her get into that
okay.
more in our discussion. But she's going to tell us about how that began. But she's also a creative businesswoman. She's passionate about fulfilling her dreams, using her camera to help other professionals do the same. And so, if you are a business owner, if you are somebody who is trying to grow a platform, you need good pictures.
You do.
Trust me when I tell you, you need some good pictures that really expresses who you are and expresses your authentic personality. And so she also offers communities her services. So one of the things that she did as a part of the organization that we were both part of was we would do around the holidays, we would go to a place that offered services for women and children who were in transition, who needed housing. And she would take her services and take pictures of those families, and just to see the faces of those families who might not be able to afford a picture, a nice picture of themselves. She was able to provide her services to them, and so that is a part of what she does. That is a part of who she is, and so which draws me to her even the more because not only is she a great photographer, but she is just a wonderful human being. And so, with that, all
Thank
of that
you.
said,
Thank
I want to
you.
jump into the interview with you tonight. Let's welcome Miss Kirsten White,
Oh,
and
thank
thank
you
you
so much for
again.
having me. Thank you. I'm so happy
Yes.
to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you became interested in photography.
It goes back to when I was a kid and loving the family photo album, and kind of what drew me to that was the pictures and people, the family having fun together, and flipping through the pages and having my grandparents or my parents tell me stories about what was happening then. And I love the feeling of connection I had with that. So I wanted to take pictures and get them into the family album. That's how it started. And then as I got older, as a teenager, I was obsessed with magazines, and I still am. I still get them, even though they're getting smaller and smaller because people are doing digital. But there's
Mhm.
nothing like flipping through the pages of a fashion magazine.
Yeah.
And I just loved it so much and trying to replicate it, trying to understand how that photo was made, why it was so good, where's the light coming from, what can I glean from looking at that image? Where are the catch lights? And it just was fascinating to me. And I wanted to do that straight out of high school. But my parents said, no, 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 no. They had in their mind, the starving artist, and that's a nice thing to do. You're good at it, but let's go to college and get a job, and you can do that in your spare time. And that's kind of what I did. I went to Hampton and I majored in business because I knew I was going to revisit business at some point. I knew that I was not going to work for someone else forever. I didn't know when it would happen, but I knew it would happen. So I majored in marketing, and I went out and worked. I was working in corporate marketing for a while. And when I had kids, I came out of that because I wanted to actually see them. I was working a lot of hours and traveling and things like that.
Mhm.
I got divorced when my kids were very young, and I needed something that would help me spend more time with them. So that's when I went to teaching. I used to tutor as a community service activity, and I love that. So I went and got my master's in elementary education. And the combination of the two degrees helps me so much in my business now because I'm educating my clients a lot. Most of my clients, they're not models. They're everyday women. They're running businesses, they're running homes. They come in for a photo shoot and they don't know what to do. So, what I learned from teaching, I take into my business as well, as far as teaching them what to do, giving them emails with what to do, what to expect, making sure that they're not left feeling like they're winging it. Because it can be scary when you're not used to being in front of the camera. It can be very intimidating. It's intimidating as a photographer when it's time for me to be photographed or when I'm doing self portraits. I know what to do backwards and forwards. But when I get in front of that lens, you kind of forget. So I like to do that to kind of remind myself that that's how people feel when they come in. So I know to make them feel very comfortable, make
Mhm.
them feel happy, make them feel pampered, and let them relax and just enjoy the photo shoot. I like to make it all about them. So that's kind of how, my grandmother used to say that not one experience of your life is wasted. And
Yeah.
that's true. Every step of my life has led me to this. For a long time, I did photography on the side. I had my full-time job, and then I did photography on the side, weekends, evenings, whenever. But in 2016 is when I decided to do it full time. I always told myself when I couldn't juggle it, when it was too much to do both, I'd have to make a choice. And when the money's matching too, you have to make a choice. And 2016, that part, 2016, I that was my last year of teaching. So when that school year ended, I took the leap to go full time, and I've been doing that ever since.
So
So tell
a
me a
little bit
little bit
about,
about,
because
because
I
I
mentioned
mentioned
earlier
earlier
about
about
how
how
I
I
felt
felt
personally
personally
when I
when I
came into
came
your
into your
studio and you
studio and
did
you
my
did my
photo
photo
shoot. Like
shoot.
I
Like I
really
really
did
did
feel
feel
like
like
a
a
celebrity.
celebrity.
Like
Like
was
good, good.
it was such a
Such a
warm
warm
and
and
wonderful
wonderful
feeling.
feeling.
And
And
I
I
actually as
actually,
a
as a
teenager
teenager,
did
did
some
some
modeling,
modeling,
but
but
not in
not in
front of a
front of a
camera.
camera.
It
It
was
was
more on
more
a
on a
stage,
stage,
which is
which is
different.
different. Yep.
And
Same,
so
same
I was
here.
So I was
was
very
very
uncomfortable, a
a
little
little
uncomfortable,
uncomfortable,
but
but
you
you
really
really
did
did
make
make
me
me
feel
feel
very
very
comfortable.
comfortable.
But not
But not
only
only
that,
that,
I'm
I'm
one
one
who,
who,
as you
as
all
you all
can,
can,
people who
people who
watch me all
watch
the
me all
time,
the
you'll
time, you
see that
see that
I don't wear, I'm not a
I'm not a
makeup
makeup
person. I
person.
don't
I
wear
don't wear
makeup
makeup
too
too
much.
much.
It's not
It's
a
not a
religious thing.
religious thing.
It's just not
It's
my
not my
thing.
thing.
Hmm.
But
But
having
having
like
like
somebody
somebody
like to
like
like actually
actually
do my
do my
makeup and
makeup
it
and it
looked
looked
natural,
natural,
Hmm.
it
it
just
just
it
it
made
made
me
me
feel
feel
different. I
different. I
felt,
felt,
a little
a little
more
more
something, a little
something, a
more
little more vavoom,
vavoom,
you
Yep,
know?
yep, and that's what it's designed to do.
Yes,
When you come in the door, most people are anxious. I mean, unless you are, an extrovert with a capital E, most people that come in, they're a little anxious. They're nervous. They don't know how this is going to go. They don't want to feel foolish. They don't want to, look foolish. Um, they're just unsure.
yes,
So when you come in, the first thing you get is your makeup. And it's very relaxing. If you
hmm,
notice, they make sure your face is cleansed and moisturized, and they're massaging your face, and
yes,
they're putting the makeup on, and you're relaxing. It feels good to be pampered,
hmm,
and your makeup, we talk about how you want to look in your photos before your shoot. So we have ideas of how much makeup. I always ask for a picture. I have a Pinterest board with a ton of different makeup looks. And I ask my clients to screenshot or just let me know which looks you're interested in, because your version of a lot of makeup from someone who doesn't wear it is going to be very different from a makeup artist's idea of a lot of makeup. So a
Right.
picture helps us all to be on the same page. So that way you have a good time. You're supposed to look like yourself on your best day. We're not supposed to make you look like someone else, unless it's
yes,
some sort of themed shoot and you're trying for that. But most of my photo shoots, natural glam is the most popular look, because women want to look like themselves, just a little extra something. And that's what we achieve. It achieves two things. It helps relax you, makes you feel um, relaxed but confident. When you look good, you feel good, right?
yes,
And that's the key, to feel good, because
yes.
that's how I can get authentic photos of you.
That is
That
so
is so
true.
true that
When you
when
look
you look
good,
good,
you
you
feel
feel
good.
good.
There are
There are
times where
times
I'm
where
not
I'm not
feeling
feeling
well,
well,
but
but
I
I
have to
have to
like get
like
up
get
and
up and
like take
like
a
take
shower.
shower.
Hmm.
And I
And I
might not
might
look
not
my
look my
best,
best,
but I
but I
feel
feel
better when
better
I
when I
put
put
something
something
on
on
that
that
Yep.
just
makes me
makes me
feel
feel
better
better
Yep.
about
about
myself.
myself.
What are
What are
some of
some
your
of your
favorite
favorite
outcomes
outcomes
from
from
a
a
photography
photography
session?
session?
Like, do
Like,
you
do you
have
have
any
any
sessions
sessions
that,
that
a
a
person
person
maybe
maybe
came in
came in
one
one
way
way
and they
and they left,
left, different?
different?
Absolutely. I love that transformation. And I'm not speaking so much about the physical transformation, but the confidence.
Mm,
Um, my goal with each shoot is to help the woman see herself the way I see her, the beauty
mm,
that I see. We often don't see the beauty in ourselves that other people see. We
yes.
know the flaws and we focus on negative things, but other people don't see that. We have to get out of our heads and appreciate the compliments that come. Learn to just accept it. If someone tells you you look beautiful, that's a compliment that you just accept and say thank you, because they're seeing it. And when you don't accept that compliment, you're kind of like telling them, I don't believe you. Or,
Right.
you're just making that up, and then it becomes something else. Then just accept it. You are beautiful. We all are beautiful. We all have unique beauty. And that's what I like to bring out. I don't want people to look cookie cutter. I don't want someone to look like someone else. We do posing inspiration where, we'll come up with some poses. We'll do a Pinterest board, kind of a mood board of what types of poses based on the questionnaire,
Mhm.
based on how you want to look. These are some poses, and we start there. But from the time you come in the door, I'm watching how you move. I'm watching your natural nuances and how I can adapt each pose to showcase you and look real for you and feel good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the you talked about, watching the transformation, women who come in, and you don't just do women. So let me let I don't I
I'm
keep saying
about
that.
90% women, about 10% men. So it is very woman heavy. And the men are usually scheduled by their wives or their sisters or aunties or whatnot. But I have a few men that just approach, and that's great because I do photograph men. But with the women, it's a lot more of an event.
Hmm.
And I like that I've had women come in going through transitions in their lives where they need something to make them feel like themselves again.
Hmm.
Women come in
What are some examples of those transitions you're speaking of?
getting engaged, getting married, maternity, mommy and me. But also, I've had some come in after being divorced
Hmm.
and they're trying to find themselves again, find their footing, get their confidence back. I've had some come in after going through an illness. Um, I've had some cancer patients. I've had women coming in after significant weight loss. They want to celebrate that. I've had a few do their transformation journeys from when they're starting and then each month take a picture to see the progress and just a little pick me up, little mini shoot to kind of give them a pick me up at each stage because we have to celebrate our wins. And I
Yes.
see my business as a vehicle to celebrate wins. No matter where we are and what's going on, there's something good to celebrate.
Yes.
And you have to not feel badly about celebrating yourself. And I think the younger generations get it. They understand that our generation, we're still kind of we have one foot in, one foot out, and a lot of our upbringing, like you don't brag on yourself, you don't put too much attention on yourself. That's arrogant or conceited, and so we're trying to push that notion down because there's a difference between confidence and conceitedness.
Yes.
There's a difference between that.
Yes.
And I want people to understand that, you're beautiful, you're strong, you're gifted, you can handle whatever life throws at you.
Hmm.
You can handle it and you can handle it with a smile and you
Yes.
can you can get through it because trouble doesn't last always, right? So I like to celebrate and just show that strength and show that beauty and just let people reconnect with themselves again.
I like that. I just did a post earlier that said, "Don't dim your light." And I think that, pictures is one way to bring that light out in a person who maybe feels like they don't have what the next person has, and so that they are not worthy of shining their light, or
Yeah.
who feels like if they shine their light, people are going to think something of them. And I think pictures are used for are tools that are used for a variety of reasons. A lot of people use pictures on their vision boards.
Hmm.
Pictures help us to formulate our vision for what we might want to engage in,
Yep.
whether it's, in the near future or the distant future. Pictures can just give us something to look forward to,
Hmm.
something to hope for.
Hmm.
And that's why I wanted to have you here on Mind the Mental Monday, because somebody might ask, well, what does a photographer, what does photography have to do with minding the mental?
Well, it helps to anchor positive memories. Like you talked about your experience and how happy you felt. Now, every time you look at your pictures, it takes you back there and
It
you
does.
remember it, right? So it's an
Yes.
anchor for positive memories. And we all know how important it is if we have children, you know how important it is for them to see photos of themselves on the walls and throughout the home. And we all get that and we all do that, right? We put our kids' pictures up, we put our grandkids' pictures up.
Mhm.
Well, the same thing is true for us. We're grown women, but it is nice to see yourself smiling and confident or strong and, you know, whatever it may be, being able to see that. If you're having a bad day and then you see that picture, I keep a picture of myself from my 50th birthday shoot. I'm out in Arizona in the mountains. I'm sorry, the canyons, rather, not the mountains, but the canyons. But it's just such a powerful picture. I'm wearing red and the dress is flowing. And it's just, it's something that if I'm having a bad day, if I'm in here, I'm retouching photos or I'm doing emails and calls. And if I'm having a tough day, I look at that and it's just like, you can do it. You can do it.
And
Look
do
at you.
it.
You can do it.
That boldness.
Right. The boldness is times when you're not feeling bold. And when you
Yes.
look at the picture and see yourself that way, it just reminds you of who you are.
Yeah, or the times where you don't feel so beautiful and you
You can look at the picture and say, hey, I clean up nicely. I may have my bonnet on and my pajamas on right now, but I clean up well.
right. But baby, when that bonnet comes off, you better
That's
watch
right.
out.
That's right. That's right. It's really important. And
My
that's
husband
just
calls
for
it a
that
pizza hat.
everyday woman. The businesswoman most definitely needs photos and professional photos. And I
Yes.
say that because I mean, we know business is still typically a male dominated field, no matter which industry you're in, even the beauty industry.
Hmm.
Who's at the top? Usually it's a man. So women have to work a little harder to be taken seriously. So
Absolutely.
because you're up against that, you know that your performance has to be on point. Everything about you really has to be on point. You can't
Hmm.
get away with slacking. So whether you have a business or not, even if you're working in a company and you're trying to advance your career, everyone has a personal brand, whether you're in business or not.
Hmm.
Okay, your brand is what people think of you, what they say about you when you're not around. What are you
Yes.
known for? Every friend group, we all have the different personalities of the friends group. You know, like you look at shows like Girlfriends, and they all each had distinct personalities. Living Single, they had distinct personalities. Every friend group has that, and that's kind of your brand. You know, there's one that's the organizer. There's always an organizer in a friend group, right?
Hmm.
One that puts the brunch together and invites everybody or plans the birthday event or anything. Then there's, you know, the life of the party. There's that one, the extra, you know, charisma and they keep the party going. There's usually one that's always late or one that's always punctual. Whatever it is, that's your brand. And if you don't define that, if you don't cultivate that for yourself, someone else will do it for you. And we can laugh about it with our friends groups because we love each other. And hey, that's just my friend, you know, my friend's always going to be 15 minutes early or she's going to be 15 minutes late. We have to tell her it starts later than it does.
Hmm.
We can all laugh, but when it comes to your profession,
Yes.
you have to take that seriously, very
Absolutely.
seriously. And having professional photos shows an investment in yourself. It shows that you take yourself seriously, you take your position seriously. It sends a very clear message.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons that I titled this episode "Picture This" is that, it goes back to that vision, that formulating that vision of yourself. And, how do you want to how do you want to be seen? But mainly, how do you want to see yourself?
Yes.
Not even so much basing it on what other people might think of you or your brand, but how do you want to portray yourself to yourself?
Because we
Because I
teach
think
people how to view us and how to treat us, right? The way we see
exactly,
ourselves. So how you see yourself, it's going to transfer to other people. They're going to see that and they're going to know how to deal with you. And
absolutely,
and you're in total control of that.
absolutely. And so having an experience like that one, um, especially if you're at a time in your life where, as you spoke about earlier, those times of transition where, things are maybe aren't solid, maybe things are a little rocky, but there's this one experience that you mentioned can anchor you and help you to remember that time where you took that picture that made you feel bold, where you struck that pose that made you feel confident,
Yes.
and you can go back to that time Uh, and you can even go have the physical evidence of that and
Mhm.
say, hey, I did that. If I did that,
Yep.
if I was able to pull that off as
And
bad as I
because
was
you did it
feeling,
afraid, right?
right.
If it was something that you were nervous and anxious about, but
Yes.
you did it and did it so well, and you're loving that photo of yourself. I mean, that just speaks volumes to your subconscious.
Yes.
Yeah, it just gives you that confidence. And every time you see it, you're going to be reminded that I can do hard things. I was afraid to do this, but look what I did.
Hmm. I love that. I love that feeling that you come away with of, um, you know, I was okay with the selfie. But
But
now
now
that I
look at me.
see
I've
what a
leveled
real
up.
professional photograph looks like.
And you know, you want to exist. You want to leave your mark on this world. You want to exist. So many women have chunks, huge gaps of time where there are no photos. They hid from the camera. They didn't want to be photographed because, oh, you know, I gained a few pounds. I don't want to, or I don't like my hair, or whatever the reason, whatever the excuse. They're not photographed. And that's sad to me. Like that's sad. I went through that where I had a period where I didn't want to take pictures. I was going through things and but looking back on it, it's like, man, that's a big gap where I just was invisible. You know, that doesn't feel good.
I think about that, and in particular now that you and I have joined the Grandmom Club.
Yes.
But I think about I love going back and looking at pictures that we're able to find of like our grandparents and our great
Mhm.
grandparents and great great grandparents and what they looked like, and you can sort of look at their picture and say, I came through that, like
Yeah.
whatever their struggle was, whatever the good points were, like whatever I came through that bloodline. I am their legacy.
Mhm.
And so now we are planting seeds of legacy. And one
Mhm.
of them can be to allow our offspring and their offspring to know, oh, look at Jima when she was 7 years old.
Yep.
Look at
Yep.
her as a
Absolutely.
woman, in her 20s, and now I'm in my 20s, and this is what she looked like, and this is what I'm looking like, and this is what she was doing, and
It's
this is what
so
I'm
cool
doing.
to be able to do that, right? And
Yeah,
we want our kids and grandkids to be able to do that, to
yeah,
see pictures of us in different stages. And we don't want to pass on shame.
yes.
You know, we
Oh,
don't
talk
want
about that. Yes.
yeah, we don't want to and we don't do it intentionally, but think about the message that you're putting out that like, oh, okay, I gained 10 pounds. I, I'm not able to be photographed or I shouldn't be seen. Like I just don't want young ears to hear that and start questioning themselves that,
Mm,
oh my goodness, do I lose my worth if I gain weight?
mm,
Because that's kind of what we're saying. And though we don't mean it, we don't mean to give that message. You would never look at a loved one and say, hey, you know, you put on some weight, your value's out of here, you know. You don't mean that. You would never say that, but you're saying that, you know. Okay, so if every hair isn't in place and you don't have, you know, your earrings and your necklace, everything perfect, does that mean that you don't count?
that's such a good point because we all have heard, that the camera adds 10 pounds, right? And so if you're weight conscious and concerned about your weight, and I'm going to be real transparent right now. Like right now, I don't like taking pictures because I've
Wow.
gained weight, and I feel like I it's more noticeable in pictures. Um, and the really bad part is not so much the weight gain, but it is what I tell myself that other people are saying when they see me in pictures.
Mm.
People that knew me 30 years ago when I
Mhm,
was
mhm.
was,
Yeah.
smaller. Look at
Hmm.
me now and be like, oh, she gained a lot of weight. That's what I hear in my head.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
those
but
voices in
but
our
so
head are
what?
mean.
Yeah, but
And we
like,
all
so
do it.
what?
You're not alone. We all do it. And we have to catch ourselves. And for one thing, I doubt they look the same as they did 30 years ago.
Right.
The voice doesn't tell us that. But yeah, I think we all have experienced that, and we feel self-conscious that we don't look the same like we used to. Um, life does change us. We're older
Right.
now, but there are pluses to that as well.
Yes.
But just like we have transition clothes, we walk because we both want to be fit. I'm trying to lose weight too, and but we have to realize that people see us. Even though we don't want to be photographed, people are still seeing us. We still go to the store. We're on social media. We go to events. I mean, people still see us.
But Kirsten, the camera adds those 10 pounds, remember?
Well, it only adds 10 pounds if you're not posing correctly. There are poses that can help us out. And learning those poses and learning how to turn your body, adjust your body so that it's more flattering for you, that helps. But we don't want to put our lives on hold. Just like we have like transition clothes, when you're trying to lose weight, you don't want to buy a whole lot of clothes because
Yeah.
you're not going to stay there. Like, you lose 5, 10 pounds. Now your clothes are a little baggy. You don't want a whole new wardrobe because you're going to keep going. I think we need transition photos too. You may not
Mm,
need a whole slew of photos because you know that you're going to keep changing, but you
right.
might need 2 or 3 photos, especially if you're in business, because you want to build trust. Nowadays, so much of everything is online. And
Yes.
our first impressions are often online. So you want to look like you look. So when people meet you in
Yes.
person, they're not like, is that you?
Exactly.
I was expecting somebody else, You don't want to catfish people. So
Right.
you do want to look the way you look. And I think we should celebrate all stages. And that's easy to say because this is what I do for a living, but because I do it for a living, I get it. Like I see people doing wonderful things at all sorts of weights, all sizes. I've seen people lose their hair. I've seen people, grow
Yeah.
their hair long. I mean, but they're still out there being dynamic and doing
Yes.
amazing things. So document it. That's one thing I
Yeah.
love about social media is that it's almost like a diary. You can go back and scroll back and see what you were doing and see who you were interacting with, what you enjoyed, where you wanted to go and do and how you looked. All those things, they're now on our pages.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, we go back to what, '07 maybe, '06, something like that. But if you
Yeah.
scroll all the way down, you see, wow, I watched my kids grow up. I was one of those hashtag proud mamas. So
Right.
there were tons of pictures and just looking like, wow, they've grown up so much. And you see the memories pop up and they all, I've never seen a Facebook memory pop up where I didn't smile like ear to ear.
Right.
Even when it's maybe a loved one that's no longer here with us
Yeah.
anymore. But I still smile when I see that picture because it takes me right back. Like, pictures of my mother would pop up and we were
Yeah.
at one of my kids' games, or, we were just, it was a holiday, we were just having fun, we were doing something, and it just makes me smile. I'm so grateful that those photos exist.
Yes. Yes. And when you're thinking about leaving that legacy, um, there are generations in you that are going to come behind you that would love to be able to see you, and glean from you. And, and when your time comes, you don't have to have a picture of your 20-year-old self on the
I'm so glad you
and
said that because
and
I
you're
mean that's
88,
something that is it's tough because you can't. I found a way to market that. You want a good picture for when you pass. But you'd be surprised how many calls I get where people want me to use Photoshop to restore pictures or to improve the quality of a cell phone picture that is with someone. Can you take that person out and can you crop it just on their because they didn't have any photos of themselves by themselves.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So they're grabbing, this was from the family reunion, 5 years ago, but it's the most recent I have. And they're in there with 5 or 6 other people, and I got to get rid of them. And, it's like, oh, I wish they had taken photos, just so people
Yeah.
can remember you as you
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like an
Yeah.
afterthought that you have to kind of fix up. That's always sad to me that, wow, so I'll do as much as Photoshop will allow me to do and fix those pictures up. But I think it's a good idea, to have pictures taken. I mean, Mother's
Absolutely.
Day, Father's Day, they're coming up, Grandparents' Day.
Yes.
Take some pictures. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be a big, full, long shoot. It could be a little mini session, just a few photos, just something to have and for your loved ones to have of you.
I love it. And I know we're in this digital age, but even get a digital frame, or get a frame and get them printed out and hang them, somewhere in your home so that when people come over,
I definitely will.
they can like see it.
Mhm.
Pictures of you and your family.
Yep.
I don't have that in my home.
We have to work on
We
that. I have
haven't
to
had a
print out some
family
pictures
portrait
for
since my
you.
kids were a little young, so we got to fix that.
Yeah, we have to fix that. We have to fix that. Yeah, we have the best intentions when people say, "Oh, I just want digitals." Now, for my business clients, I know that they're going to put them on their website or they're going to put them, online and stuff like that. But for my families that come in and my fabulous 50s and um, just regular portrait clients, I always include, okay, we're gonna print anything that you get printed. You also get your digital, so you can post it on Facebook, you can post it wherever, but you have something tangible
Yes.
because you're not gonna get around to printing it out. You think you are, but you're not. We all have the best intentions. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I can't tell you how many photos I have in my phone. I'm embarrassed to say how many photos are in my phone. I have hard drives stacked up, all of them don't get printed.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say I literally have a bag full of, you remember back in the day, those disposable
And you
cameras?
didn't get them developed.
I literally have a bag full of those cameras that have
Yes.
never been developed. And
All of
I don't
those
even know the
memories
name
in a bag.
in a bag. I don't even know what the memories are anymore. Like, I don't even
You
know what's
should take
there.
one
And
per
it's
week.
probably my poor youngest child who was always the one that we don't have many pictures of her. I feel so bad because she's like, "Do you have any pictures of just me with, like her grandparents and stuff like that to
Right.
remember?" And I'm like, I feel so terrible. Um,
Get them
so it really
developed.
is important, you don't realize how important it is in the moment, but sometimes those days come up where, a person, your child is wants like a picture of just of them, and that person that maybe has transitioned on, and it doesn't exist, or maybe it did exist but it just never got developed. Um
Exactly.
so it's important, to have those memories. So we are coming to the end of our time,
Oh,
but
that went
I'm
quickly.
really so excited that you came here today and shared with us, just how a photograph can really impact you mentally.
Mhm.
It is another tool in the toolkit of minding the mental to, track yourself over the years. You can see how far you've come.
Mhm.
You can see what you've been brought through. You can
Absolutely.
set goals and envision what you want for the future just based on photographs. I
Yep.
mean, hey, picture this.
Picture this.
What is it that you want to picture? You know, and um, and then figure out how you're going to create that picture. and then go to Kirsten and have her
Yes.
to take a professional photograph of it.
Absolutely.
So, Kirsten, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap up?
Just, to cherish your stages. Don't always look ahead. Don't always look ahead to I'll be happy when I lose
Mm,
weight, or I'll take pictures when. Like, we always put these wins, and we need to be in the moment and live in the moment and celebrate these moments because we're so blessed.
we are.
We all have our problems, and we think that they're awful, right? But my grandmother used to say, if you put your problems out on the table and everybody else put theirs out too, you're gonna take yours right on back, because it's not as bad as you think. And we're really blessed, and we need to live in the moment, cherish the people in our lives, and cherish the stages. If you want to improve, go ahead and improve, but love yourself as you improve.
Oh, love yourself in the
Yeah.
process.
Yep.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, tell people where they can, how they can connect with you.
Well, my website is kirstenwhitephoto.com. I am Kirsten White Photo on Instagram and on TikTok, and Facebook. I am Kirsten White Photography. So, yeah, send me a message, follow me, I'll follow you back, and let's connect. Let's get some pictures taken.
Yes, let's do it. Well, Kirsten, thank you again. Thank you for not only the wonderful job you do as a photographer, but thank you for just being the beautiful person that you are inside and out. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you so much.
Thank you. Right back at you. And I'll see
All
you at
right.
Pride.
Yes, we got to get back at it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to Mind the Mental Monday. I'll be back next Monday. As I always say, Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
There we
I'll
go.
see you next Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our friend Michelle Thornhill is on Instagram.
Hi,
Hey,
Michelle.
Michelle. She's another beautiful soul. Go follow her too.
Absolutely.
But thank you again. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And yeah, see you next week. Bye.
Bye. See